El fiscal general de Pensilvania, George Shapiro, hizo una denuncia pública en conferencia de prensa en los Estados Unidos sobre abusos sexuales y resaltó a 4 miembros de los Testigos de Jehová como perpetradores de estos actos dentro y fuera de sus familias. Estos son sus nombres y a continuación veremos un extracto que tomé del video de mi querido amigo Rafael Candelaria, que desde aquí le envío un saludo, sobre esta conferencia de prensa subtitulada en español.
Children who have a right to grow up in a safe community, but were defiled by members of their own congregations.
Now we'll have much more on these arrests coming up in later newscasts.
The 49th investigating grand jury has voted on and approved presentments for charges related to 4 individuals for committing sexual abuse throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Before I go forward, I'd like to introduce the public servants who stand with me here today. Executive Deputy Attorney General Jennifer Selber, Chief Deputy Attorney General Kirsten Hine, Chief Deputy Attorney General Ron Eisenberg, who's not with us but did important work on this case, Assistant Chief Deputy Attorney General Dan Dye, our lead prosecutor on this case, and Supervisory Special Agent Doug Hilliard. I also want to make mention and give thanks to the members of the grand jury. We appreciate their service. These are independent citizen grand jurors who participated in this process, reviewed and came to their own determination about evidence, and returned these charges that I'm here to announce today. As many of you know, our office takes the abuse of children very seriously. We have arrested over 500 offenders for taking advantage of and exploiting children all throughout this Commonwealth. And that work continues here today. The cases that we are here to announce are deeply disturbing. The allegations hard to imagine, while all sharing one common tie. The 19 victims and 4 men who are being charged with sexually violating them are all members of the Jehovah's Witness organization. Most of these defendants used their faith and church to gain access to their victims, to build their trust, and then molested them. Children who have a right to grow up in a safe community, but were defiled by members of their own congregations. Some defendants only looked as far as their own families to commit their abuse. My office will not stop until these defendants are held accountable for the crimes against innocent children and until justice is achieved for these courageous survivors. This investigation began with a resource referral from a local district attorney's office back in 2019. Based on that referral, our office undertook the investigation of allegations of sexual assault involving members of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Throughout that, we learned of several incidents of sexual assault committed by different members of the Jehovah's Witness religious organizations. And as a result of our 3-year investigation, hundreds of hours of grand jury testimony, and dozens of witnesses, we filed charges against 4 individuals. I can report that early this morning, 3 of those men were taken into custody. 1 was arrested in Pennsylvania, 1 in the state of Georgia, and 1 in New York State. I want to thank the honorable men and women of the New Windsor Police, Butler Township Police, and the Coffee County Sheriff's Office in Georgia for their assistance in today's apprehensions. I will now go through each case individually, but encourage you to read the presentments, which will provide a greater level of detail of the crimes and the criminal counts that we are here charging today. First, Jose Serrano, 69, of Lancaster County. During the investigation, it was determined that Jose Serrano used his influence and common faith to sexually molest at least 6 minors, including his own daughter. He confessed to committing many of these criminal offenses to members of his community and to the grand jury. 2 of Serrano's victims testified in front of our grand jury, providing detail about the abuse that they suffered at his hands, which included groping that escalated into forcible rape. Serrano's own daughter testified to the grand jury that her mother would remind her to lock the door at night if her father was around. Serrano was charged with aggravated indecent assault, and endangering the welfare of children. Jesse Hill, 52 years old, formerly of Berks County, Pennsylvania, and now a resident of the state of Georgia. The grand jury heard testimony that Hill used his milling business to lure young boys in his Jehovah's Witness congregation with promises of alcohol, marijuana, and pornography. He lured them to his property for parties in the 1990s. He built a rapport with these victims, taking them to movie theaters and area malls and providing them with gifts. As time went on, Hill would expose himself to the children. He would grope them. He would force them to perform oral sex. Our investigation identified at least 10 victims of Mr. Hill's sexual crimes. Hill made statements admitting to many of these crimes. Jesse Hill is charged with rape, involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, and corruption of minors. Robert Ostrander, 56 years old, formerly of Cambria County, now a resident of New York State. Ostrander's abuse began in 2006 and was at first physical. This abuse was directed at his family. The grand jurors heard testimony from his stepdaughter, who said that by 15, the abuse became sexual, groping, and then wrestling, and then eventually sexual assault. Ostrander and his family, including his stepdaughter, were active members of Jehovah's Witness congregation. As a result of that membership and the relationship that he and his family enjoyed, his stepdaughter became friends with another girl Ostrander was given unsupervised access to. He exploited that access and sexually assaulted her as well. Ostrander is charged with indecent assault, endangering the welfare of children, and corruption of minors. All of the charges against these 3 defendants have been filed in the corresponding counties of Lancaster, Berks, and Cambria, and will be prosecuted by my office, led by Dan Dye. And finally, Eric Elam, 61 years old, of Butler County. The grand jurors heard testimony from Elam's daughter about the sexual abuse she suffered, including being forced to perform oral sex. She told the grand jury about her father's practice of using sexual molestation as discipline in the house where she was growing up. She reported this abuse to her mother and to other members of her community. Through the documents obtained during our investigation, we obtained a summary of a meeting where Elam told others that the accounts of sexual assault must be true if she said them, because, quote, his daughter does not lie. Elam was charged by my office with rape, involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, aggravated indecent assault, and endangering the welfare of a child. Early this morning, when agents from our office and local police in Butler County attempted to take him into custody, he retreated into his bathroom and killed himself behind closed doors. No law enforcement officers were harmed in the process. This is tough work, and I commend the incredible prosecutors and agents here in my office who do this work day in and day out. And again, thank the members of the grand jury for their important and meaningful work. These are the types of cases that haunt us. They leave an indelible mark on our souls. And as prosecutors, as people of faith, as parents, we can't escape the impact that these cases have. These 19 children, they deserved a place to grow up in peace, not to be preyed upon. This is an abuse of trust, an abuse of power. And I'll remind you that no matter what power you cloak yourself in, everyone is accountable under the law. And if you abuse a child, I want you to know that the Office of the Attorney General here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will find you, and we will hold you accountable. As we do more and more of these horrific cases, our agents and prosecutors continue to get better at uncovering these crimes. While some of the crimes that these men committed can't be charged due to the statute of limitations, we won't fail to hold them accountable for the crimes that we are charging them with here today. These 4 presentments lay out the nature of our investigation, but I want you to know this investigation is very active and ongoing. I will not comment on these cases or any other matters related to this investigation beyond that at this time, but I will repeat our call to anyone who has suffered abuse. We want you to know that we are here and we are listening. We are urging anyone who has had a similar experience to come forward to tell us your story. We're here to listen and we will act. Your case won't be swept under the rug. Your experience will not go unheard. This investigation is intensive and laborious, and as I said a moment ago, ongoing. We have found victims, we have heard their voices, and we have corroborated their complaints, and our work continues. Today we have the opportunity to reach out and to publicly ask if anyone has information regarding similar allegations of sexual assault. Please contact our office immediately. We've established a special hotline just for you. That number is 1-888-538-8541. Again, that special hotline we've established just for you is 888-538-8541. And with that, I'll do my best to answer your questions with the understanding, of course, that I'm constrained in what I can speak of due to the nature that this investigation is active and ongoing.
Now, are there other suspects that you're still investigating? And do you have any reason to believe that nationally this could be a bigger national case with more suspects in other states?
All I can say is that our case is active and ongoing. And I'm obviously constrained today based on what is written in these presentments. And I think as the prosecution begins, more information will be presented as we make our case, which may help address your questions. Go ahead.
I just want to be clear. You said that all 4 of the men charged were Jehovah's Witness. Is that correct?
They were involved there, yes.
So do you think it's something within that religion itself? I mean, because these men were not from the same area. They were from different counties.
I really can't comment beyond what I've already said and beyond what's in the 4 corners of the presentment. And as I said a moment ago to your colleague, as we move forward here, as the prosecution begins, I think more information will be presented as we make our case.
Other questions?
Okay.
Créanme, amigos, que me hubiera gustado verle, al igual que ustedes, verle la cara a estos putos desgraciados en el momento en que se dio la conferencia de prensa. Yo ya me los imagino en este momento moviendo cantidad de información, papeles, abogados, para poderse tapar este penal que ya es inevitable, ya está todito adentro. Lo más interesante es que en las preguntas que se hicieron al final, la segunda, y ustedes pueden retroceder el video y ver la segunda pregunta, la periodista le dice al fiscal general ¿Crees tú que sea un tema que lo esté promoviendo, sea de su misma religión? Porque los 4, aunque eran de diferentes condados, pues seguían siendo miembros de la organización. O sea, siguieron siendo miembros aún después de haber sido capturados. El fiscal es muy inteligente y, por supuesto, como es propio de un hombre de leyes, sabe que no puede dar información más allá de lo que se le pueda permitir dar. Hay información delicada y que lo sacará como especie de as bajo la manga la ley cuando lo vea conveniente, y poner entre cuerdas a los responsables y a los corresponsables también, porque de hecho ya los periodistas saben lo que les está pasando a esta secta, saben que los casos de abuso sexual son por las políticas fuera de tiempo, fuera de contexto, fuera de ley que tienen esta organización. Además, la Comisión Real Australiana ya es manejo público, como se llevó a cabo. Sin embargo, en este momento hay que estar muy atentos a lo que haya de venir, porque hay más sorpresas. Con razón, pues, ¿se acuerdan el negrito, Samuel Hertz, que dio un discurso acerca de la espina en la carne, que por qué te quejas tanto? Vamos a recordar un pedacito de ese video, pues, ¿no?
De hoy dice: recibí una espina en la carne. Tengo una y me duele. Duele. Pero pregúntense, ¿de verdad es tan malo clavarse una espina? Está claro que duele. ¿Y ven el dibujo? ¿Ven la sangre saliendo? Seguro que le duele. Es más que un pinchacito. Una sola espina en la carne duele. ¿Y qué podría doler aún más? Miren eso. Miren todas esas espinas. Las tiene por todo el cuerpo. Eso duele. ¿Y tú decías que tenías solo una espina? Y me dices: pero duele mucho, hermano Herd. Es duro, me desanima
Como
mucho.
de esperarse, esta secta
No sé
liderada
qué
por
hacer.
sociópatas narcisistas siempre dirigirán su atención al hecho de que, pues, las víctimas son en realidad las únicas responsables de lo que les ha sucedido. Revictimizarlas, silenciarlas, ningunearlas, hacerlas caer en la idea de que, pues, si no lo denuncian, quedaba en las manos del Dios Supremo Jehová. Así que mejor cállate, porque hay que evitar hacer caer en oprobio a la organización de Dios. Así sean tus propios hijos las víctimas de abuso sexual, de su padre, de su abuelo, de su tío, de ancianos, de ciegos ministeriales. El silencio es la forma en la que esta organización ha manejado los abusos sexuales. No han sido denunciados ante las autoridades y se ha generado un gravísimo daño a las víctimas. ¿Qué saben de psicología el cuerpo gobernante? ¿Qué sabe del efecto tan terrible y destructivo que se puede crear dentro de las víctimas? Peor en esos comités judiciales donde todo queda encarpetado y después llevado a la sede de Betel para meterlo bajo la alfombra. ¿Qué saben estos ancianos lambebotas, insensibles, cuadriculados, que ser manejados como títeres por un cuerpo gobernante indolente, indecente, ladrón, y que su organización siga dando la apariencia de ser la religión verdadera y que está libre de todo mal? Ahora las víctimas ya no son niños, han crecido y necesitan denunciar los abusos del cual les fueron objeto. Y eso me parece muy bien. En contraste con la estúpida forma de tratar a las víctimas, el cuerpo gobernante tiene que ahora enterarse mediante el fiscal qué es en verdad hacer justicia. Él, un mundano que morirá en Armagedón, le enseña al cuerpo gobernante la debida actitud que se tiene que tener para con las víctimas de abuso sexual. Vean lo que dice al final el fiscal general de Pensilvania, George Shapiro, para todas las personas que han pasado por abuso sexual y en particular aquellas que han estado dentro de la organización de los testigos de Jehová.
To anyone who has suffered abuse, we want you to know that we are here and we are listening. We are urging anyone who has had a similar experience to come forward to tell us your story. We're here to listen and we will act. Your case won't be swept under the rug. Your experience will not go unheard. This investigation is intensive and laborious, and as I said a moment ago, ongoing. We have found victims, we have heard their voices, and we have corroborated their complaints, and our work continues. Today we have the opportunity to reach out and to publicly ask if anyone has information regarding similar allegations of sexual assault. Please contact our office immediately. We've established a special hotline just for you. That number is 1-888-538-8541. Again, that special hotline we've established just for you is 888-538-8541.
Y tú que has sido víctima dentro de esta organización de abuso sexual, no importa si has sido una vez o dos veces, no importa cuántas espinas tengas, quéjate, denúncialo, no te quedes callado. Así hayan pasado muchos años. Es un derecho de las víctimas que se les haga justicia y que también tengan ayuda profesional. No los consejos culeros de 8 vagos, de 8 ladrones, como son el cuerpo gobernante, que no les conviene, justamente por la misma razón que son ladrones, que se les vaya el dinero en el pago de demandas. Denuncia. No más silencio ante esta secta. En Perú, el 11% de la población que está en los penales son por abuso sexual. Y pues muy denodados, muy cumplidores de la ley de Dios, los testigos de Jehová se van a dar estudio y bautizan reos. Y quizás ni siquiera les interese si son por abuso sexual. Y un abusador sexual no se cura, señores. No se cura. Siguen continuando con sus pulsaciones para atacar a los niños sexualmente. Ahora, díganme ustedes, ¿y cómo es la organización que trata a los pedófilos? Atalaya de mayo del 2019, no me voy a cansar de repetirlo. Párrafo 18, página 13. Si se arrepiente, se quede en la congregación. ¿Cuántos han pasado así? Han vuelto a sus casas con sus hijos que han sido víctimas del abuso. Han retomado su servicio del campo, aunque por supuesto ellos dicen, ay, pero ya no se le da privilegio. ¿Qué carajo significa un privilegio? ¿No es mejor hacer justicia y denunciarlos para que vayan a la cárcel a pagar por sus delitos? Pero no, como él se ha arrepentido, ¿no ves que los ancianos son sabelotodos? Está arrepentido el hermanito, entonces tú, sin saberlo, tienes que seguir extendiéndole la mano, invitándolo a tu casa y que te acompañe a predicar en el servicio del campo. Qué lindo, ¿no? Qué bueno es el cuerpo gobernante con los pedófilos, con estos delincuentes. En cambio, cuando una como yo, o como cualquiera de los que hemos denunciado estas maldades del cuerpo gobernante, estos crímenes, se nos ha tratado como justamente apóstatas, delincuentes, gente perversa y mala que quiere hacer daño al pueblo de Jehová. y no merecemos nada. Ya estamos fritos ya. No merecemos la vida. Denuncia tu abuso. Así han pasado muchos años. En el Perú lamentablemente prescribe. No han visualizado ese tema. Por eso acá la Iglesia Católica también hace lo que le da la gana con los casos de abuso sexual que se presenten. Nomás recuerden el caso del sodalicio. Es un tema que se develó en el Perú. Pero también se vio el poder de la Iglesia Católica para agarrar y meter preso al periodista que denunció el hecho. Y es que las religiones se creen muy todopoderosas porque el mismo gobierno les otorga una licencia que parece ser que jamás, es como que jamás será vista, como que jamás tendrá una revisión o una objeción si se presentara algún caso. Porque todas se rigen bajo el derecho clerical o el derecho canónico de silencio clerical. Y que no deben de entregarle a ninguna autoridad los temas que se ventilan en el interior de su organización, así sean delitos. Denuncia tu abuso sexual, porque estos putos vividores jamás, estos delincuentes del cuerpo gobernante y los ancianos como cómplices, nunca van a darte por tu lado, jamás van a jugar a tu favor. Denuncia esta secta maligna, peligrosa para niños, peligrosa, porque imagínate, ¿no? ¿Cuántos de esos pedófilos que ahora están abrazando la verdad, ¿no? Abrazándose de las faldas de Jehová, van a pasar a la organización y seguirán depredando más niños? Seguirán siendo bautizados dentro de las cárceles. Piénsalo. Y denuncia, no les tengas miedo. Yo sé que tú sabes que a tu hija la abusaron sexualmente. O a tu hijo. Denuncia. No les tengas miedo a estos ancianos, que por lo único que se preocupan es por su cargo, no por tu justicia, no por la salud mental de tu hijo o tu hija abusado, no por hacerle el bien a los demás. Así que se vienen más demandas. Esperemos que más víctimas salgan valientemente a enfrentar a esta secta, y espero que en Perú en algún momento también se lleve a cabo una oleada de denuncias para poner en evidencia a la Watchtower, a los Testigos de Jehová, como una organización que cubre la pedofilia, que cubre y encubre hasta más no poder, cometiendo gravísimos delitos de favorecer a estos delincuentes en vez de hacerle justicia a las víctimas.